So yeah, I was gonna, hey y'all, wasn't even gonna introduce myself. Butterfly Goddess here, just with a message, just a daily message about people and how my mind works when it comes to people, especially people who, when they get around other people, they start treating you differently. They just act different. A whole new person shows up, and it's not the person who you know. And I realize people wear different faces in different places for all different type of people, but I'm not one of those people. So I just, I'm a person who treats everybody the same regardless to who's around me. I I don't know, what that is. I really don't. So I'm literally, my thoughts was, what if I pulled a you on you? How would you feel? So if you don't know this about yourself and I pull a you on you to show you who you are, you're probably going to be pissed at me. You're going to be big mad because a lot of people literally just be yelling, "Nah, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. I didn't act like that." I'm curious to know how many people would be willing to record themselves. Your drunk person, your sober person, just to kind of see the difference. And no, I'm not giving this person a pass because in that very moment that I felt they violated me, they were very much so sober. And in this moment, they might have been experiencing some type of anxiety and high stress because an event was coming up that they really wanted to perform good at or look good at while doing it. And while doing that, they felt it to be okay to step on other people. With that being said, I'm just this type, if I'm doing some type of business transaction with you and we're agreeing to a certain thing, I expect you to respect my business the way that I would respect yours. You get to put in all the details. And before I go any further, this was not a prepaid opportunity. So it was literally being done on based off what could be sold. So sales. And I felt like this person went above and beyond and below to disrespect. And at that time, I was just trying to get an outlook of the demographics, the area, the situation, the location, the people, the time, all of those things. Now, I do hold myself accountable because I never should have agreed to do the first part of the event when someone canceled because I didn't have the full details about that. So I had to, kind of redesign how that all was going to look next time. And yeah. Anywho, but speaking in general, if you hang around a lot of different people, as I've been through several different groups of women, and I literally hang by myself now because I realize the one person that's not going to let me down is going to be me. I realize the one person that's not going to disrespect me is going to be me. The one person who's not going to roll their eyes, talk about you behind your back is going to be yourself. And I know that may seem lonely to a lot of people, especially if you're an extrovert. I still do my extroverted things, but I'm very much so as I aged. So the older you get, the more wisdom and more time that you really realize you gave away to people that you could have been given to yourself. That's me. I'm in that realization. And I realize that on a spirituality journey, you get so many eye openers. You get so many eye openers to the point where it's almost scary about how long you really dealt with or put up with different things from different people and all the personality defects. And as a person who is psychic medium and very much intuitive and highly sensitive to other people, I really have to think back of how many times I was really acting out someone else's aggressions and someone else's thoughts, someone else's actions, because a lot of times I found myself questioning myself, like, that's not you. Why would you do that? So I'm just learning all the protective factors and all the sensitivity levels of all my gifts. And I do well, I charge up. If y'all don't believe that, I charge up. Like, my energy is so. I'm in a park right now, so I'm kind of looking around like, who's gonna walk up on my car? Because weirdos do it all the time. People just walk up and start talking. My windows are rolled up, and people will still, the animals I'm used to, they'll come close. They're close now. A squirrel, a bird or two. But I'm realizing how many times, um, how much sensitivity I've had throughout the years. And I've learned through my spiritual practices how to protect myself with crystals and other things. I created an oil, a protection oil. I literally, you would not know how much my cat has saved my life from certain people. People hate cats. They're crazy. Anyway, another day, another story. Pila is awesome. Anyway, yeah, so back to what I was saying. If I pull a you on you, would you like it? And this is saying, I'm saying this because if I treated you exactly how you treated people, but I actually only did it to you because I'm showing you, and you didn't like it, what would you do differently? Would you change that behavior, or would you make it seem like I'm just being overrated and over the top and I'm insignificant, or is this just you? And this is why I chose to, for the most part, I don't even know if I chose to, but I hung around people long enough to watch them never change. And I watched the patterns just upgrade themselves every freaking year for some time. And I think, I usually bow out after something. So when it gets to the point where I'm finna be aggressive and I want to give you these spiritual hands and bless you with them, once that happens, I'm out. I'm like, yeah, this is too much. It should never have to come to that. But it does. People will take you there. And I do remember an instance with the same person. They became the aggressor even after I decided to pull my energy back. They became the aggressor, and they thought they had the upper hand, and they thought they could just pop up, show up, do all this extra craziness, even after. And no, this wasn't like a full on girlfriend, boyfriend type of relationship. I'm married. I'm not talking about my hubby. um, Although I could give you a whole rundown about my ex-husband, boy, that man, but that's a later story. This was literally a person I considered a good friend, maybe even a sister, a cousin, who just, is very much, outside of her as a personality stuff and this defects for me is not a defect for her, but for me it's a defect because, like I said, when you know people, I'm not sure how people get to know people, but me, I pay attention to details. I really get to know you inside and out. Like, if there's a scent you like to wear, it's almost like me really scouting out you if I was to date you, but not really because we're just, we're not that kind of mutual. But because I feel like when you're in relationships, whether it's friendships, cousinships, whatever ships you have, all of them should be selling in the right direction. Like, I want to be able to celebrate you in the right way. Congratulatory gifts. I should know exactly what you like in order to purchase it. I know what you need to get you out of a rut or out of a bad headspace. I know how to effectively treat that, mend that, whatever. But as you know, I do oracle readings. I do tarot card readings. I'm a psychic medium. I manifest things. I do coaching sessions for healing. I heal people. I do sound baths. I call it the butterfly tune-up. I do a lot of things where I'm of service to people, and a lot of times the people who I meet don't realize that that's one of my life purposes, and I do it comfortably, and I do it without asking. So I've always been a real big giver, and I'm not the biggest receiver in any of those scenarios. And the thing about it is, I don't ask. I don't need to receive anything out of it other than the fact that you feel good, you're healthier, you're doing better. I like to see the people around me live better, do better, have better, and that's just who I am. I achieve my energy flow from knowing that we're all good, and I'm not like any of the people that I've dealt with. I don't gatekeep, and yeah, I've had gossiping moments back in my days. I don't speak badly about my family and friends, though. If I'm speaking about them, I'm speaking about them in a loving way, in a way in which I could figure out to myself how I would help them through this. And a lot of times that's where people took advantage of me and basically called me naive, stupid, or not even called me that, just treated me as such. And just at some point, before I set these boundaries, I got treated basically as motherfuckers just assume I should be doing it. Well, you should. Well, you did it before. You should be doing it now. And I think when you come across, when you finally set boundaries with people, you lose a lot of people, and it's okay. Let it be okay, because you honestly think you're the law. You lost a lot of people. No, they lost you. People usually don't realize what they lost a great one until a great one is gone, and these people start to become your enemies, your frenemies. They do things. I've had several things over the past several months occur, and not to anything that I've done personally to them, but just pulling back my energy from people. I think they're realizing, damn, something about her was different. She brought the light. So you know how people used to say you're the life of the party. Well, I brought life into people. They've always thrown the parties, and I've always showed up. Even though, it wasn't always my cup of tea, I still sipped it and sat in it with them, whether I enjoyed it or not. And I think a lot of the time that's where my energy was getting drained by people. I was getting pulled in. And also, this same person, turns out, they just started being me. They started acting like me. Have y'all ever had that happen where somebody impersonates you, and they can impersonate you almost down to the details of all, except they don't have your look, your style, your demeanor, and they can't change it up as easy? Yeah. And that's probably the part that's making them very significant right now, because they're low key competing with a person that's not competing with them. And it's almost devastating, really. I think it's mentally an illness, and I think it's going to be a challenge for this person throughout life, because I feel like you're a chameleon, and you're going to meet other people and you're going to do the same to them, and you're not even going to be realizing that you're draining people. And that's why I said, if I pulled a you on you, what would you learn from that? Because some people really just need to be shown their behaviors. It's almost like, I'll give it another example. Before I left my job, before the universe said, hey, we're done here, they're draining you, they don't appreciate you, whatever the case may be. And I love my job because I work with students, and I love working with students. Like I said, not a people pleaser, but a people helper. I love working with people. I need that. That's my thing. That is really my thing. I miss it a lot. But we don't quit bad jobs, we quit bad bosses. Like, my boss would intentionally just think that because I was melanated, I needed to do more work. Baby, who? Why? And I don't think at first she was realizing that she was doing that to me so often, until I put her in her place and told her during a meeting with a very um, person, that a speaker was there, and the speaker was like, well, what would make you leave your job? And I said, well, we don't quit bad jobs, we just quit bad bosses. And the lady lost it. She just, I'm like, oh, slow down, Jim Shoe. I have to position myself in a sense to where I'm comfortable enough to use my throat chakra, but feel safe enough to do it without having to lose everything. Because those type of people will make you lose everything, because they can't take what they dish the fuck out. So I know a lot of people was like, you should have just went to her and told her what she did and spoke about it and this and that and the other and blase skippy. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. Um, I am into helping people. And those are the people who come to me for help. This person wasn't coming for help, and this person didn't change their behavior or their demeanor. They just moved on to the next person and continued on with the same behaviors, which means this is a part of their DNA. Dana, your DNA is liberated. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Dangerous because you don't see it, and if you don't see it, who am I to really truly point it out? What I did was secure me and remove myself from the situation so that I didn't have to pop off. Because, yeah, just because you see all this spirituality and all these other things, life is filled with yin and yang. I practice and try to stay in yang. I mean, yin, yin, no. Yeah, probably in my 20s, I stayed in yang. Very aggressive, very unapproachable, very knock your ass out. Just know that. Um, Protective. And I thought I was using it as a protective factor. Truth is, I was just around a lot of people who made me want to protect myself. So, yeah, now I remove myself from that type of energy because there's no way you should ever be with a bunch of people who make you feel like you should always be on the lookout. What the fuck are we looking out for? Thought we were cool. Yeah, no, we're not. You find out the people will hang out with you just to get close to you, just to get in your business, just to get in your energy. And some even came to destroy. I'll never forget that, you know? And so now that if you I don't know who has gifts out there, I don't know who all practices, but if you went through your spirituality journey, which is a very long journey, I'm still on it. I'll probably be on it until days of days. But here's the thing: every level up, every experience is like a new level of aha-ness, but not really, because you get all this. You look at the world so differently and you treat people so much better, and strangers become friends because it's almost easier to entertain, heal, and speak with and really love on a stranger than it is with present people, because your present people are so used to doing you a certain way that they can't even freaking come out of that nature that they've already. That's who you are to them. That's what you are for them. They don't see it any other way. Even if you point it out, they may stop for a minute, but they transition right back into it, and they don't like to be told no, and they don't like to. Oh, I don't really like this new you. I like the old you, and oh my God, what? So you got the people who really don't want to see you do better, and then you meet these new people and they don't know you well enough to know that you are doing better or worse. They could they don't know, so they don't put you at that playing field. And the people who really need you to stay beneath them, and I hang around, I still have them around because some of them are family. I can't really just cut them off. I do cut them short now. I don't let them all be all in my energy all at once, and I don't allow them to control my narrative anymore, or what direction my life should be going in, or what I'm doing, or who I'm with. I keep them out of my business as much as possible. If anything, it's going to be the social media where they're going to be on there looking at it and probably pissed that I'm even saying half of this shit, because people do not like to hear the truth about themselves, especially ever. Just ever. Hell. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. I had to get that out. Maybe in a long rant. Watermelon juice with lime in it. Baby, if I alkaline anymore, I'm going to alkaline into one of these trees. But I'm going to show y'all this tree because I don't want y'all to think I wasn't at the park. This baby. This is my tree right here. Matter of fact, let me just, I don't know what I was doing. Oh, Lord. Beautiful park. I love this park. Girl, take that down. Okay, I'm like, can y'all see that? Can y'all see that? And we'll go up the road a little bit. All right. I love y'all. Y'all have the day y'all supposed to have. I appreciate y'all for listening to my rant. Again, if I pull a you on you, you think about that. Really consider that, because if someone pulled back in the day, me would really. My husband recorded me. My current husband recorded me drinking or being drunk one night, and I didn't like it, and I changed it immediately. It was humiliating. I was embarrassed of me. Like, that's not me. Like, I don't know if I want to act like that for real life. I'm like, oh my God. But we do know where, we can control what we put into our bodies. We can't control what it does when it gets in there. So I say this to say that, make your choices deliberately, but with good intentions. I love y'all.